బహుమానపెట్ట కేరళ గవర్నర్ జస్టిస్ పి సదాశివం, కేరళ ఫిషరీస్ మంత్రి శ్రీమతి మెర్సీకుట్టి అమ్మ, మేయర్ శ్రీ రాజేంద్ర బాబు, పార్లమెంట్ అంగం శ్రీ ఎన్కే ప్రేమచంద్రన్, నియమ సభాంగం శ్రీ ఎం నౌషాద్, నియమ సభాంగం శ్రీ ఎన్ విజయన్ పిళ్ళే, నియమ సభాంగం శ్రీ ఎం ముఖేష్, కొల్లం ప్రెస్ క్లబ్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ శ్రీ జయచంద్రన్ నిరంకత్, కొల్లం ప్రెస్ క్లబ్ సెక్రటరీ శ్రీ జి బిజు, ಕೇರಳ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ ಸಿ ನಾರಾಯಣನ್ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಶಿಷ್ಟಾತಿಥಿಗಳೇ, ಪತ್ರ ಪ್ರವರ್ತಕ ಸುಹೃತ್ತುக்களே, எல்லாருக்கும் என்ற நமஸ்காரம். കൊല്ലത്തു എത്തിരാച്ചൻ കണിനടയിൽ വളരെ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. സുവർണ ജൂബിലി ആഘോഷിക്കുന്ന കൊല്ലം പ്രസ് ക്ലബ്ബിനു എന്റെ അഭിനന്ദനങ്ങളും ആശംസകളും അറിയിക്കുന്നു. My dear sisters and brothers, I'm sorry I can't speak to you in a beautiful, great language Malayalam, so I have to speak in English. I feel delighted to inaugurate the Golden Jubilee celebration of Kollam Press Club. Kollam has a rich socio-cultural history from ancient times. Its natural harbour at Neendakara had been an important trading point since long. The place has found mention in the writings of Chinese, Arabs and Europeans. Such was the flourish that the indigenous calendar of Kerala, Kolla Varsham, owes its origin to Kollam. It prides in producing many great leaders who not only fought against the foreign invaders but were also in the forefront of reforming the society. So that way, Kollam is a very important place. I'm happy to note that Kollam Press Club has been playing an important role in the socio-cultural activities of this region for past many years. My dear sisters and brothers, journalism has always been looked upon as a mission to serve people. Primarily, it's a public service. Journalism is ultimately a unique vocation to serve the truth and hold a mirror to the contemporary happenings in a society. I always say politics, journalism, medical profession, they are all like a mission, not for commission. And we should not give any omission or do any remission. We should all have the passion to take this mission forward. So such is the pious profession of journalism. I am very happy to be amidst you today for this Golden Jubilee celebrations. I am thankful to my colleague in Parliament, Sri N.K. Premachandran, who insisted that I should come here under any circumstances. I must be frank with you, because of so much pressure and lack of helicopters, earlier there was no scope to come to Kollam. But when he came to know I am coming to Kochi, he said, sir, if you are coming to Kochi, then you must also come to Kollam also. But I had to go from here to Thiruvananthapuram and go to Hyderabad and attend a program. So keeping that in mind, I could not say no to him. One is my liking for him as a good parliamentarian. Second is my liking for the media, with whom I have almost 45 years of relationship. Relationship, of course, of different kinds. Now, as a politician earlier, I was 24/7 meeting people, greeting people, talking with people, walking with people, going around the state and the country. But today the situation has changed. I am in a non-political position. I have resigned from politics but not retired from public life. That's why I could make it here to come and meet you and greet you on this occasion of 50th year. The Indian media has always been free and independent and played an outstanding role in protecting and strengthening democracy, barring a few aberrations during the infamous emergency. Before independence, the press played a pivotal role in mobilizing public opinion against the colonial British rule. In spite of the ironclad restrictions imposed by the British, the press remained fearless, and several journals and newspapers, including Raja Ram Mohan Rai's Samvad Kaudbudi in Bengali, Kesari in Marathi, Hindu Amrita Badar Patrika, Vande Mataram, Young India, Hindustan Times, and Maulana Ajaz's All Balad and All Hilai played a pioneering role in the independence movement of the country. No doubt, the Fourth Estate have always championed the cause of the underdogs and has time and again successfully highlighted omissions and commissions of those in power. Many of the journalists in the country, they have shown their courage and conviction, unearthed corruption, brought out scams and scandals in such a manner so as to create enough public opinion and then create pressure on the government to act. So I really appreciate and compliment the great service that has been done by the journalist community to the cause of democracy in India. My dear friends, having said so, as mentioned earlier, barring few exceptions like the Indian Express then, the Statesman and the Mainstream, the response of the Indian press by and large was mooted during emergency. It is a fact and one must introspect. Then the blank editorial published by the Indian Express during emergency under the leadership of Sri Ramnath Goenka was perhaps one of the strongest protests ever published against censorship in India. It spoke more loudly than any words could have because he left the editorial place blank. That has conveyed a powerful message. When asked about his fight for the truth in face of stiff resistance, Ramnath Goenkaji was reported to have said, I quote, I had two options, to listen to the dictate of my heart or my purse. I choose to listen to my heart. That's a great statement made by the great son of this great country, Ramnath Goenka. He is really an icon. He was a legend, having come from a background of business community, but still he could dare the government, mighty government at the time, which imposed emergency, and then he fought for the freedom of the people and freedom of the press at that time. We must all follow the examples set by such great people. There are many more like that. Over the years, the media landscape have changed drastically, and so have the values, those professing to journalists. The value system in the country has gone down. It's a matter of really serious concern for all of us. We should all really introspect, from politicians to publication houses to the journalists to the readers in different walks of life. Why these values have gone down? Why ethics are going down? And then why fall of standards in public life? It's a matter of serious concern for one and all. Because, my dear friends, India was known as Vishwa Guru once upon a time. Students from abroad used to come to India, to Nalanda, Takshashila, Pushpagiri. They used to come and study here. And even we were just discussing about Kollam. You had trade relations with Arab those days. Those days. So such is the past, such is the civilization, such was the trade of India at one time. And India was known, as I told you, Vishwa Guru. And India, in spite of being rich at the time, before the colonial rule, India was rich. But we never attacked any country. All Tam, Dick and Harry came, attacked us, ruled us, ruined us, looted us, cheated some of our minds also. You know the colonial rule, what happened to the country. But subsequently, after we became independence, we started moving forward. Now the definitely country is moving forward. We are becoming a strong economy. World Bank, World Economic Forum, International Monetary Fund, ADB, Asia Development Bank, Moody's ratings, everybody is confirming India is in the move. The world growth rate is 3% GDP average. China has come down to 6.8, but India is 7.2, 7.3, 7.5. At this rate, everybody is predicting if you all work together and continue the reforms, India will become the third largest economy in the world. That is the situation that is going to emerge. So that being the situation, we have two challenges. One is to see that the growth reaches every section of the society. That there is equitable growth. That every common man should feel that he is also able to enjoy the fruits of development. That should be the agenda of all parties, irrespective of their ideological differences. to have inclusive growth, to reach the development to various parts of the country, and to see that every section, the suppressed, depressed, oppressed people, they're all made confident that they also have a stake in the system. This is one thing. Secondly, at the same time, we continue our traditions, heritage that was given by our forefathers to us. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. Vasudaika kutumbakam, sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. Entire world is one family. That is the philosophy of India. We must adhere to that. And we should see to it that we are able to provide peace within ourselves, within the society, within the country, and within the world community. Peace is prerequisite for progress. Without peace, you cannot have progress. If there is a tension, there cannot be attention towards development. So we must all work towards our ancient philosophy. Ancient philosophy. And see to it that social dissensions, discrimination of any kind, they're all given a go by. Discrimination against women, discrimination against certain social sections, discrimination against this section or that section. They should all be given up, and we should all focus our attention treating each one of us as brethren, as sisters. That is what is required. And then maintain values in public life, maintain ethics in public life, political leadership, media, and other public personalities. They should set high standards. They should guide the society, because media is a powerful communication. If you are able to communicate people in an effective manner, people will definitely be guided and influenced by your thoughts, by your writings, by your showings. So media has a responsibility, and political leaders also have a responsibility. The political situation in the country also needs an introspection that we must select and elect leaders with character, caliber, capacity and conduct, not to be carried by the other. These are 4 C's: character, caliber, capacity and conduct. But unfortunately at times the other C's, 4 C's are trying to influence. They are caste, community, cash and criminality. So we have to educate the people, guide the people and encourage the people who have got the character, caliber, capacity and conduct. This is the need of the hour. And the journalism, this is a sacred duty. You have to, the journalism was a mission for fighting every ill that afflicted the society, and journalists used to work without fear or favor. The same cannot be said of the noble profession any longer, as commercial and other considerations are taking precedence over everything else in certain instances. With business groups and even political parties setting up newspapers and TV channels to further their interests, the core values of journalism are getting eroded or blurred. Without dwelling further into reasons for the present state of affairs, I would like journalist bodies like yours to do a serious introspection. And also the society also. It's not in the hands of journalists alone. We know the management, how at times they bring pressure also. And managements, as I told you, the business community is entering into the media houses and also starting channels. Political leaders are also starting their own channels. I remember during my early days, there used to be only one channel, Doordarshan. Dur se darshan karna, black and white dekhna. Now you have more than 1,000 channels. How many channels? Nobody knows. Making news, breaking news, good news, bad news, nahi to khud unka news bhi chalate. Such is the competition nowadays. Sensationalism is the order of the day. Sensationalism means senselessism. You have to understand that. There has to be sense, and simply competing for headlines. And these headlines should not become deadlines for us because the main line is missing. We have to carry the line of the public interest, value system of the country. That should be foremost in the minds of the people, and people should encourage such journalism, such journalists, such media people, such media houses and such newspapers, which really promote, propagate the interest of the country, interest of the society, and also stand by truth and objectivity. That is my advice on this occasion. Reading any one major newspaper in the past used to give a fairly good understanding of what was happening around the country and the world. But now, that is not the case now. One will have to read a minimum of 4 to 5 papers to get a complete sense of current developments. Same is the case with regard to news channels also. This is not good for democracy, especially when the fourth estate assumes the role of a gatekeeper and tries to be the arbiter of what the people should read or watch. Of late, undesirable practice of mixing news with views. News and views should never be mixed, which has now become the new norm. The sooner such practices are eliminated, the better it would be for the journalist and the society at large. There should not be any compromise on the core values of journalism, and practitioners of this profession must carry out their duties without fear or favor. Just now, as the Honorable Governor was telling, it is the duty of the media houses to see that the journalists are paid reasonable wages also, so that they will be able to continue their profession like a mission without waiting for anything else. Sensationalism, paid news, and biased coverage has become the bane of modern-day journalism. In addition, we are also having the problem of fake news. In the present digital era, when millions are using social media platforms, journalists will have to be extra careful in checking the veracity of information and guard against fake news, disinformation, and misinformation. My dear friends, information with confirmation is more than an ammunition. One has to understand this. Information with confirmation is more than an ammunition to fight against injustice, to fight against corruption, to fight against tyranny, to fight against discrimination. We must have the information which has got a confirmation. So that should be the objective of all of us. The fake news through social media tends to morph seamlessly into authentic news and gets channelized through respectable media platforms because of sensationalism, temptation of TRP. I have broken the news first. Whether the news is correct or not, that is later. This tendency is no good at all. This is a dangerous trend, and it is here where the media needs to tread cautiously. Today's times, cardinal principles of journalism such as truth, objectivity, accuracy, credibility, fairness, impartiality, humanity, and accountability seems to have taken back seat in case of some media houses. Most news channels also are obsessed with lending primacy to their point of view and worrying about TRP. Perhaps it would be appropriate here to recall the views of Mahatma Gandhi on newspapers. He said, I quote, "One of the objects of a newspaper is to understand popular feeling and to give expression to it. Another is to arouse among the people certain desirable sentiments. And the third is fearlessly to expose popular defects. Instead of giving expression to popular feeling, some newspapers these days are giving expression to colored and partisan views. The media should act as a bridge between the government and the people. It ought to ensure that justice is not denied to the people, particularly the vulnerable and marginalized sections of society." The political leaders, at times, they try to say, sir, even if you make a meaningful speech, it is not going to be reported. To some extent, it is true. I am now the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, as the Vice President of India. When members come prepared at times and make a very, very meaningful contribution, media do not take it seriously. I used to be Parliament Affairs Minister. I said it on the floor of the House also. And I watch people like Premachandran making a point of view with hard work, study, and coming to Parliament. If the media do not encourage such meaningful contribution, then they will get disillusioned. This is what is happening in Parliament. In Parliament, what do has become more important than what you say. In Parliament, what is the way? Strengthening a parliamentary democracy means discuss, debate, and decide, not disrupt. But disruption is becoming a news. Obstruction is becoming a news. Destruction is becoming a news. Construction is not becoming a news. This has to be understood by one and all. Everyone has to be really concerned about this. What is the way in Parliament? Whether you talk out or walk out, but should not allow breakout. If there is a frequent breakout, there will be all out of democracy. One has to understand that. Media should highlight who was present in the House, who made a good contribution, who was just simply coming to Parliament and signing and taking DAD and going up. or who is not even coming to Parliament. All these things has to be highlighted. But unfortunately in Parliament, if you come steady, prepared, you don't get publicity. You come and then tear the papers, throw the papers on somebody, or break the mic, then you are in the front page. This is a very undesirable trend. Very undesirable trend. Parliamentarians, of course, politicians, all of us, should also introspect after 71 years of independence. Is it the way we conduct our Parliament? Is it the way we conduct our assemblies, Kerala Assembly or Andhra Assembly or Tamil Nadu Assembly? I am not saying one assembly or one Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha. The general trend is disturbing parliaments are not functioning effectively. What is the way in democracy? The way in democracy is government proposes, opposition opposes, House disposes. That is how one has to do it. Let the government propose, let the House oppose, let the opposition oppose, and let the House dispose. That should be the practice. And media has an important role in highlighting the contribution, constructive debate and discussion to be highlighted. Destructive behavior has to be condemned. When we introduced the live telecast of Parliament, there was expectation things will improve. But I am doubtful now. Live telecast means then people will try to show that their heroism and all. This is a trend. This also has to be now seriously thought about what to do with regard to this. Political parties should also take care of their members, their conduct, and must evolve a code of conduct for every political party members. And journalism, as I told you, the media must focus on development and welfare. We are no more under a foreign rule. We are on our own country, our own state, our own parties which you elected and selected. They are governing the state. Who you elected and selected, they are governing the country. And you should try to play an important constructive role because we must have a positive attitude. Negative attitude is no good for anybody. Instead of focusing on negativity, it is important for newspapers in a country like India to accord importance to developmental journalism. The country is facing several challenges related to agriculture, urban-rural divide, climate change, gender equality, women's safety, impact of rapid urbanization, illiteracy. Even after 71 years, 20% of the people are still illiterates in our country. Poverty, 20% of the people are living under below poverty line. And delivery of health services, among others. These are the areas where the media should highlight and show who is doing good work, who is not performing his responsibility. If such a reportage has been done, and then it is shown to the people, people will be able to take their own judgment. These are the issues that need more space in newspapers, telecast time in channels, and not some trivial matters. Apart from highlighting the problems of the common man, the media must expose the shortcomings of the system and promote accountability. You must make people's representatives accountable, governments accountable, political parties accountable. On that, there is no need to compromise at all because one has to take up positivity means positive contribution made. Positivity means highlighting the failures of the person or the party, what they have said, what they are doing. But by reporting the factual situation, that can improve. Issues like Swachh Bharat, Clean India, Make in India, Digital India, Skill India, or Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, or even yoga, they are not partisan issues. They are larger issues of public interest. They should be highlighted. And focus should be on the good practices done. Kollam Corporation, what it has done, good practice should be highlighted. So that others get encouragement. There has to be comparison between 2 corporations or 3 corporations. Then there will be competition. There will be incentive for the people to do better. If you recognize the service of individuals, if you give felicitation to them, it will be an inspiration to others. So that should be the attitude and focus of the media should be on the good work done and lack of accountability on this other side. Some of you may not agree with my views. Some of them are very strong, but I can't help it. But a truthful reportage has become a casualty due to cocktail of commercial interests, ideological leanings, and the insane scramble for breaking news. I have always maintained that dissent is always welcome, but not disintegration. Let me elaborate further. A democracy can thrive only when all shades of opinion are allowed to be expressed fully and freely. Any attempt to stifle or shut out contrarian viewpoints is unhealthy for a democracy and will stunt intellectual development. At the same time, it should also be remembered that the freedom of speech and expression enshrined in our Constitution is not absolute, but bound by responsible restriction. There is a one-way traffic restriction. You say, I am a free country, and after this meeting, everybody want to go. Some people want to go in this direction, some people want to go to opposite direction, and you say, it's a free country, I will move like this. The other man say, I will move like this. And what will happen? Both of you will meet there. There has to be certain regulation, but regulation should not become a strangulation. So these regulations are needed for democracy. Same is the case with regard to freedom of press, freedom of expression also. Reasonable restrictions. Maybe the time has come for media bodies to come out with a code of conduct for journalists in view of the critical role played by journalism in protecting democracy, in serving the larger good of the society. The profession must maintain highest ethical, moral and reporting standards. Journalists must never shirk from their core principles of journalism like independence and objectivity and shun unhealthy practices such as sensationalism. I also feel time has come for prescribing a minimum educational qualification for aspiring journalists. This is absolutely necessary to ensure that the standards and ethics of journalism are maintained and not compromised. Friends, as flag bearers of a noble profession, you must ensure that people do not become captive receivers of a biased and partisan information. The media should also act as an instrument of reformation in the transformation of India into leading economic power in the coming decades. I would like to reiterate that media, MEDIA, should function as, I quote, means of empowerment for development through informed action. That is MEDIA. I would like to suggest 10 qualities to be budding journalists to be successful in journalism. They are: be joyful, J; be objective, O; be unbiased, U; be responsible, R; be a nationalist, N. Nationalist means not simply saying Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ko Jain. Jaya Ho to 130 crore people. Irrespective of caste, creed, sex, religion and region, India is one. We are all one country, one people. We must be careful about their interests. That is called as nationalism. Attacking another man on his belief, on the basis of his social background, or on the basis of gender is no patriotism at all. Patriotism means taking care of everybody. That is nationalism. Be artistic, A; be a lifelong learner, L; be inquisitive, I; be strong, S; be mindful, M. This is my advice to the budding journalist. I am not here to give advice to senior journalists who have more experience than me in public life, but I thought I should share some of my thoughts with you all people on this occasion. It is only beginning. Inauguration today. We are going to have a number of seminars and symposiums where, on the occasion of this 50 years Golden Jubilee, you must all introspect. What are the success stories? What are the shortcomings, if any? What are the lessons? What are the good practices of others? Let us try to follow good practices. Let us try to overcome the shortcomings, if any. Let us try to learn lessons from others' experience. There is a saying, wise men learn from others' experience. Fools learn from their own experience. You journalists are all wise men. Let us all try to learn from others' experiences and take the strong country to make it a strong, stable, prosperous, inclusive India. I am very much thankful for the Press Club organizers for giving me this invitation to come here to this historic town of Kollam and address this gathering. And I could see the entire Kollam is here in front of me, of different strata of society, different professions and vocations. I am very happy for the reception you have given to me, and I would like to compliment the Press Club, its office bearers present, past, for the good work they have done so far, and hope that they will try to improve further and maintain higher standards in future, thereby raising respect among people for journalism and for media. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.